In the winter of 1692, a series of strange and terrifying events in Salem Village would ignite one of the darkest chapters in American history. What began with the unexplained suffering of a few young girls soon spread like wildfire, consuming neighbors, families, and an entire community in fear.
Even now, centuries later, the question remains, what truly afflicted the Salem girls? Was it disease, deceit, or something far more sinister?
The year was 1692, and the small Puritan village of Salem, Massachusetts, stood on the edge of a vast, untamed wilderness. Life was harsh and uncertain. Winters bit with icy teeth, wolves prowled at the edge of fields, and the unseen dangers of disease and famine lurked in every season. Yet it was not the wilderness that would haunt Salem most, but the darkness that crept from within its own meeting houses and homes. Fear, faith, and suspicion wove together in a tightly bound society where the devil was believed to walk as surely as the minister preached, and where whispers in the night could lead to gallows at dawn. This was the world in which the strange afflictions of the Salem girls began, setting in motion one of the most infamous episodes in American history. In the cold parsonage of Reverend Samuel Parris, 9-year-old Betty and her cousin Abigail began to act in ways that defied reason. They screamed without cause, writhed in pain, and claimed invisible hands tormented them. Salem, a town already steeped in fear of the devil, was about to be shaken to its core. At first, the villagers believed it a childish ailment or a passing fever. But when the girls bent and contorted their bodies into grotesque shapes, their cries echoing into the night, doubt turned into dread. Was this merely sickness or the touch of something otherworldly?
To the Puritans, illness was not only of the body, it could be of the soul. When natural explanations failed, the supernatural offered an answer.
In a community so consumed with sin and salvation, even a child's outburst could be seen as the devil's hand at work.
The local doctor was called, but he could find no fever, no rash, nothing earthly to explain the torment. His diagnosis was chilling. The girls were under an evil hand. With those words, a veil of fear fell upon Salem, and whispers of witchcraft began to coil through the village. Soon others followed. More young women began to fall into the same fits, clawing, shrieking, and twisting their bodies. To witness such scenes was to look upon something unexplainable, and the villagers could not decide if they were watching sickness, hysteria, or a curse. The afflicted girls cried out at shadows only they could see. They claimed specters bit them, scratched them, and whispered threats in their ears. Some villagers believed these claims were undeniable proof. Others wondered if imagination and fear had turned against them all. The parsonage drew crowds of fearful neighbors. They pressed against the windows, desperate to witness the girls' convulsions. Each returned home with stories of shadows, bruises, and unseen forces. But every tale carried more fear than fact.
What's fascinating is the duality. On one hand, the afflicted could be dismissed as children acting out, but their power came not from their youth, but from their innocence. If the purest among them could be attacked, then no one in Salem was safe.
Abigail soon displayed a bite mark on her arm, claiming it came from a ghostly attacker. Some gasped in horror, others in suspicion. Was this a mark from the devil, or the bruise of her own invention? As the days passed, the afflicted began to name names. Outcasts, servants, and women who lived on society's edge were accused of sending their spirits to torment the innocent. Salem, once bound by kinship and faith, was fracturing into suspicion and betrayal. The meeting house itself became a stage for terror. The afflicted collapsed in front of neighbors, their voices shrieking through the sanctuary, Each convulsion and cry of torment seemed to confirm the unthinkable. Witches walked among them. And yet questions lingered. Was this mass hysteria, poisoned crops, or even clever manipulation? Or had the devil, as so many feared, truly come to Salem? The uncertainty only deepened the terror that gripped the village. Every moment seemed to carry an omen. The flicker of candlelight on a wall looked like a shadow in motion. A cough in the night became a witch's curse. Salem was no longer a village of neighbors. It was a village of watchers. Meanwhile, the afflicted grew bolder. Their fits became performances in the meeting house itself, writhing before horrified congregations. If this was deception, it was convincing enough to sway even the most skeptical eyes. The people of Salem stood at a precipice. Were these girls truly seized by forces beyond comprehension? Or had their fears woven a snare so tight that no one could escape? Each explanation brought its own terror, and none offered peace.
The accusations weren't random. They often targeted the vulnerable, the poor, the socially unwanted, or those already at odds with the community. The afflicted became both victims and wielders of power, and in a society ruled by fear, that power was absolute.
And so the stage was set. From strange afflictions came accusations, and from accusations, trials. Yet the central question remained, whispering through every candlelit night. Were witches truly among them? Or was Salem devouring itself from within? Soon they would spill into courtrooms, pulpits, and gallows, and with every accusation, the line between truth and terror grew thinner. The strange afflictions of the Salem girls would ignite a storm that spread far beyond their small village, leaving fear and suspicion to consume an entire community. The world would forever remember the darkness that fell over Salem in 1692.